looking at word problems. We looked at one-step word problems. Today we're looking at two-step word problems. We're also looking at expressions. So let's look at some meanings first. Sum implies what operation?
Plus.
Addition. Times implies which operation?
Multiplication.
More than implies addition. Of implies
Division.
not division, multiplication. Decrease implies
Subtraction.
Subtraction. And a number is represented by,
The variable.
right, the variable
Oh, I was right.
or a letter.
I'm just gonna write that.
Can we use any letter?
Yeah.
Yes. Whatever you would like. I'm going to use N for today. All right, so expressions. Expressions are different from equations because
You don't solve.
They're expression.
they were not. Say that again, Travis.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you did.
You don't solve them.
You don't solve them. They do not have an equal sign. Expressions just have a few terms put together. All right, so let's look at writing some expressions. So we have example 7. It says 3 times a number decreased by 5. So the operation that we're performing, it says decreased. So that means we're performing what operation? Subtraction. Usually the operation is thrown in between a couple of terms. So we have 3 times a number is decreased by 5. So times implies multiplication. So we have 3 that we're multiplying by some number. So 3 n is decreased, so we have subtraction 5. And it's done because it's not equal to anything, we're not solving for anything. We're just writing the expression. Example 8. 4 more than 2 times a number. So we have times, which implies multiplication, and we have more than, which implies addition. So we have 2 operations going on. So we have 4 more than 2 times a number, 2n. We could also write it as 2n plus 4. With addition, it's commutative, and so it allows us to write it in either order. It's different than subtraction because you cannot do the same thing with subtraction. Addition, it means the same thing. Example 9. 6 times the sum of a number and 9. So we have a couple of things going on here. We have times, which implies multiplication, and the sum of. Sum implies addition. Of implies what? Multiplication. So we have a couple of things going on. We have to find the sum of a number and 9. And then it's being multiplied by 6. So we have parentheses coming in here. Of implies multiplication. So we have the sum of these 2 items that are being multiplied by 6. So we have a number and 9, their sum, so we have to find the sum first, that's why we have parentheses, is being multiplied by 6. and that's done. Example 10, 5 times the sum of twice a number and 8. So we have times, which means multiplication. We have sum, which means addition. So we have to find the sum of twice a number and 8. So we have 2n plus 8. And this quantity is being multiplied by 5. Any questions so far?
Could you put 2 to like the second power? Like n
That's
to the
what I
second
did.
power?
No. It's twice n, so that means it's 2 times n, which is different than n being raised to the second power.
Did you know one batches in Vegas?
No, I didn't realize it.
What?
All right, equations. So with equations, we have an equal sign, and we need to solve. Those are different than expressions. All right, example 11. 2/3 of a number is 24. So we have of, which implies
Multiplication.
multiplication. So 2/3. How do we write 2/3? 2 over 3. 2/3 of a number. So what do we put next to 2/3? N is, what do we replace with is? Equal sign. 24. Multiply by the reciprocal. So we're multiplying both sides by 3 over 2. 2's cancel, 3's cancel. So n equals 24 times 3 divided by 2. Example 12. 6 diminished by 1/3 of a number is 12. So diminished. Subtraction, yes. Of, what does that imply? Multiplication. So we have 6 equals 12. Yep. So everybody agree with that? Are we going to subtract 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Subtract 6 from both sides. What do we have on the left-hand side?
Negative 1/3 n.
Yep. Negative 1/3 n equals
6.
6. Now what are we going to do?
Multiply by the reciprocal.
Okay. Wow, you guys said that in chorus. What's the reciprocal?
Negative 3 over 1.
Yep, negative 3 over 1. 3's cancel, 1's cancel. So I have n equals 6 times negative 3 divided by 1, which is? Yes. Example 13. 4/5 of a number decreased by 2 is 18. So of implies multiplication, decreased by implies
Subtraction.
subtraction. So how do we write 4/5?
4 over
4 over 5 of a number. So what do we put next to it?
n
N. And then next,
minus
minus 2
equals 18.
equals 18. Everybody agree?
2.
So you'd add 2 to both sides.
Yes. So we have 4/5 n equals, yes.
20.
Now what?
Multiply by the reciprocal.
Very good. So n equals 20 times 5 divided by 4. Yes. Questions? Okay.
Nope.